Go around the God type stuff. And fire and brimstone come down from the sky. Rivers and seas boiling. Millions of dark earthquakes, volcanoes, even rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. That was terrible.
Well, yes, of course, here I am. You hear my beautiful puppet voice, and that is the alarm for you out there in listening land. That's right, taking the broadcast risk to another level, setting the standard, raising the bar, the only way that a real media puppet knows how to do. Was it Gange, Wheat, Wifey, Weirfee? Anyways, Animal Mother Customs is here. What is it? Jacob Young, Viper Island. Listen, if there's anybody that you should be following about G.I. Joe information, that is Viper Island. And Viper Island right there on the head of the curve, talking about, of course, all G.I. Joe stuff. Make sure you're following them at Viper Island. Bunch of G.I. Joe fans, of course. Excellent Sam Newsman song is what Cato says. The Prophet director is here. And I'm not sure if the Prophet director is here terrestrially or at the moon base. You know, the moon base. What was that? What do you mean about the, what are you talking about, the chicken? Super chicken. What about the super chicken? No, well, listen. What? That's just a conspiracy. No such thing as a super chicken spy. Anyways, no such thing as a super chicken spy. I have Watch Ryan Rust. I have Master of the My Sit Cards 2019. Anyway, so I have everybody. I have also Sir Philosopher. If I can't see your names exactly, I'm sorry about that. Big M I have over here as well. Once again, setting the standard, raising the bar, the only way a real media puppet knows how to do. Broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. You're listening to 90.1 FM. Shout out to Triple D. And once again, I don't know, hopefully I didn't miss anybody. Oh, the Duchess of Duchess, I am so sorry. Listen, there was 2 Saturdays where we were not able to be here. But one of the things that I would like to do real quick is that I would like to highlight the Duchess of Darkness. The Duchess of Darkness, she is, if you follow, you can follow her at Duchess of Darkness, Duchess of Darkness, at Duchess of Darkness. Well, she's on YouTube, but she's also on Instagram. But what she does, it's incredible. Has a wonderful voice. And here she does is she reads stories. She reads stories. And she sent me a couple of Christmas stories, and we had planned to play them. But I was not able to do it because we missed last week, and then we missed 2 weeks ago because my producer was sick. And yes, I'm just going to have to throw you under the bus, Jerem. But we weren't able to get to them. But I do want everyone to go listen to these short stories. And sometimes they can be a little creepy. They can be a little bit creepy, a little, catch you off guard. Nothing like having a Christmas story, but a little bit creepy. And how are you going to do that? What you're going to do is you're going to go to Duchess of Darkness on Instagram and also on YouTube, and listen to those. I mean, I listen to them every now and then. I have nightmares. So I'm just going to sit there. Full disclosure, I have nightmares. So I can't listen to this all the time. But I was planning on playing, giving you a little bit of creepy Christmas in the ether. But weren't able to do that. So shout out to the Thanos Copter. Also, the guys over at the 3POA podcast. One of my buddies, Ryan, a.k.a. Laser Pants. One of the best producers when it comes to toy producing content. So he says, Sam, how the hell are you? I'm great. Listen, my question is, though, the thing I know about the 3POA podcast is I'm wondering, did you finish wrapping up all your presents? Did the 3POA podcast, did you guys finish up everything? I mean, I know, listen, I saw that General Vala the other day just recently got a whole, they go ahead and, what did they do? Yeah, Series 4 of Action Force. Series 4 of Action Force. Now live on the website. They'll be getting it on a couple of days from now. But make sure you go over there, Valaverse.com. That is Valaverse.com. And you'll be able to make sure that, listen, well, what did I get? Well, of course, I got the glow-in-the-dark swarm figure. Yeah, I mean, the glow-in-the-dark swarm figure. I mean, why would you not? The thing about it is, I was thinking about getting 3 of them because there's 3 different heads. But I've gotten out of the whole, what is it, army building thing, going on. Like, I retired from army building in Toy Town. I did. But it's all done. Uh, he said, "Thank you, penis bastard." I gotta get Ryan on here pretty soon. We'll get him on here. Maybe we should start and see if we can get him on, line him up for the 10 o'clock toy hour. That'd be like what, 7 a.m. for him? Yeah, he's West Coast. But the 10 o'clock toy hour, if there's one person that I want to sit there and default to, and that would be Ryan, aka Laser Pants, the producer of the 3POA podcast. They do an amazing job. Get Series 4. It ships out in early January, is what he's saying. So make sure that you get it. Series 4, Valaverse. Make sure that you get it. And of course, go to valaverse.com. That is valaverse.com. General Vala doing an amazing job. Moto Viper 21. I have was it Gage Wifery? Gage Wifery? Anyways, swarms look immaculate is what Viper Island says. There's been one of those things that I think that is quite incredible. The fact that one of the things that General Vala has done is he has created a new army to build, and that army is the Swarm. And yes, of course, I am completely dedicated to the ideas and the concepts of the Swarm. Anybody else can just go kick rocks because the Swarm is really the new colonial, all that other stuff. Yeah. Well, what? Yeah. Well, yes, of course I know Sergeant Slaughter. We're buddies, but it's all really about the Swarm. The Swarm being the original army building army of 2023. Probably started, I guess, in 2022, maybe a year or so ago. But now the Swarm, I can honestly say, as a legitimate supporter of the Swarm, that the Swarm is completely misinterpreted. No, they are. They are. Everybody thinks the Swarm is the bad guys. No, they're not the bad guys, just like Cobra's not the bad guys. So Cobra's not the bad guys. The Decepticons are not deceiving anybody. I see that that's just propaganda. And the Swarm, all the Swarm is trying to do is just swarm you with love and kindness. Swarming you with love and kindness, the only way that a swarm with a hive mind knows how to do. And so that's exactly what it said. So, oh my gosh. So I have a lot of people in here talking about the Swarm and saying how great the Swarm is. What is this? He says, nothing says Merry Christmas more than a Christmas-themed splatter day. Yes, a Christmas-themed splatter day is something that you can do. Make sure that you go over to Toy Mercs. That's at Toy Mercs. Toy Mercs, why? Because hashtag we are all Toy Mercs. Splatter day is just a day where, well, we have, splat, horror, I guess, and, just some kind of, maybe it's questionable. Once again, I don't watch horror because I get nightmares. But you know what? I will definitely support Splatter Day. Why would I not? I mean, of course I would. What is this? I've seen videos of chicks being swarmed by the Swarm with love on the internet. To see, even what? I tell you what, even the Swarm, everybody loves the Swarm. Ladies, toy collectors, Swarm and Swarm itself. No, but once again, make sure that you're following 3POA_podcast, 3POA_podcast. My buddy Ryan, aka Laser Pants, who is he's about what, 9 feet tall? 9 feet tall. Yes, and then all of a sudden you have Tony from analogtoys.com, a real soldier, a real hero, actually has his own action figure. It's incredible. And then also General Vala. They always do a good job. I think it's every other week or so. I'm not sure when the next time they're going to do it, but just know that I'll be there. You guys should be there. One of the most authentic podcasts when it comes to action figures and toys, and I cannot speak highly enough about them. Cato's familiar with them too as well. Once again, Cato's Collection. Make sure you're following him. Shout out to the Profit Director. Something about Super Chicken being your your minion here and spying on stuff. I don't know what that's all about. I think that might be Lord Blanket propaganda. But here we are. It is the 23rd day of December in the year 2023, and it is 11:30. It is 11:30, and you might be asking, well, Sam, I thought that the phone lines were open. The phone lines are open. They've been open since I started and you started hearing my beautiful puppet voice. So I'm only going to keep them open for probably another 15 minutes. So if you are listening, you want to be a part of the show, 804-289-UR90, 804-289-8790. Going to keep you here live, and you'll be able to sit there. People will be able to hear you on the Instagram and on the feeds over here. We're broadcasting live Facebook, YouTube, X, and Instagram. And like I said, we do have the phone lines open, and they're blinking already. Let's go ahead and go right to our first caller right now. Caller, you are live here with the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, Sam Newsman. State your name and where you are calling from.
Cato, Sam.
Cato! It's Cato! Yes, it's Cato. Cato, oh my gosh, I hope you are having a wonderful holiday season. Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Merry Christmas to you, Sam. Producer and even Lord Blanket.
Well, who's misunderstood?
He's a nice guy.
Well, the reason why,
Than a Lord Blanket.
well, the thing is that, people don't understand this, is that when you were a child and you didn't pick up your toys on the floor the way that mom and dad told you to, who's going to sit there and have to come up behind? It's not going to be mom or dad. It's not going to be Santa Claus. It's not going to be anybody. It's going to be Lord Blanket, because Lord Blanket's going to have to teach you how to clean your room. Take the toys off of the floor, right?
I'm a big supporter of Lord Blanket and the Swarm.
Exactly. Well, hold on. You're a supporter of Lord Blanket and the Swarm. So when I think about the Swarm, this past year, I've not gotten this glow in the dark Swarm Tracer figure that's coming out, but I did get the Horde, the Swarm Horde figure, which I thought was an amazing nod. Of course, General Valis, such a sharp individual. Given the nod, he's at PowerCon. He calls his Swarm figure the Horde. It's a nod to, of course, the Horde from Masters of the Universe. General Val is just so sharp. But I'm sure that you have the Swarm Horde. I think you went to PowerCon, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Swarm Horde up from PowerCon. I ordered the Tracer yesterday. Got the pretty much all of Series 4. There's a few I left behind. Arctic Sniper, I got that one. Series 4 has broken me for Christmas.
Well, one of the things I thought was interesting, they did have the Arctic Trooper and the Arctic, the ghillie suit, and
the gear pack, the Arctic weapon set. It's all good. You get the Desert Condor.
Well, hold on. Where's my Arctic Steel Brigade helmet? What's going on with that? Do I need to talk to the general about this?
Isn't there an Arctic Steel Brigade too? No, it was desert.
It was a desert one. There's a desert one, but I'm asking about. Can I get a snow Steel Brigade helmet? What's going on, General? Right?
It's just a matter of time, Sam.
It is. The general is on it. He is definitely on it like a hornet, like a swarm. So yeah, exactly. Now, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, real quickly, while I have you here, is that you had a chance to open up the Jacob Marley. It was the Jacob Marley Four Horsemen Figure Obscura figure. Now, I have not opened up mine yet. In fact, I think I lost it. It's somewhere up in Toy Town. And people might want to say it might just be because of Lord Blanket. But I've not had a chance to open it. But when I do, I have already talked to a couple of 3D printers. I plan on getting a Goofy head sculpt made. I'm going to have a Goofy head sculpt and put the Goofy head sculpt on, of course, Jacob Marley, because we all know that, Jacob Marley is Goofy. But outside of that, talk to us a little bit about the Figure Obscura line, Four Horsemen. I guess what they do in terms of this line altogether. It seems to be, if I'm not mistaken, it's something to where it's holiday based or theme based. Can you go over real quickly what this theme and this whole thing is all about?
Figure Obscura stuff they do. they normally come out with a figure obscura figure. The line itself is it operates outside of the regular Mythic Legions or Cosmic Legions line. So it doesn't really fit into that story, but it's figures that have some sort of nod to other characters. Not always Christmas, like the Mask of the Red Death was pretty recent too, from the Edgar Allan Poe story. But every year at Christmas, at least for the past few years, they normally release some sort of holiday themed character. This year they did, of course, Jacob Marley. For Halloween, they've done the Headless Horseman. Other Christmases, they've done Krampus and Father Christmas. So it's something they do for at least Halloween and Christmas. And then outside of that, they do nods to, storybook characters, things like Mask of the Red Death and they did the Monkey King, Sun Wukong, the Monkey King from Chinese mythology. So it's very cool stuff. It's probably the line within the Four Horsemen that the Four Horsemen Studios make that I'll probably keep collecting more than others. The Jacob Marley figure is great. I'm surprised you're going with the goofy Jacob Marley and not the Muppet Christmas Carol.
No, well, listen, I believe Mickey's Christmas Carols was way before the Muppet Christmas Carol. And so Goofy was just when I think of Jacob Marley, I think of Goofy, and it just because it's 1981, I believe, 1980.
That's cool.
It might 1983.
You could probably use the Disney had a toy line recently based on one of their video games, and they had a Goofy figure in that you could probably use, or one of the Kingdom Hearts Goofy figures.
Well, I saw those, but nothing does it better than actually finding someone who can give me a nice 3D printed STL file, I believe is what it's called. And also I can find a painter. Of course, this, at the end of the day, this head sculpt of Goofy is going to cost probably almost twice as much as the figure by the end of it. But you know what? That's what we do, setting the standard, raising the bar. Everybody knows that Goofy is really Jacob Marley. But in terms of the figure itself, here's what I want you to do. I have not had a chance to open up the figure because who knows? I think that Lord Blanket stole it. But I believe that there is a secret in the safe. What I want you to do now, so if you've not opened up the safe yet, go ahead and pause this, turn this off, listen to it later. But I want Kato right now, I want you to spoil it. Listen, it's been now 2 or 3 weeks now since everybody got this figure, for goodness sake. What is the secret in the safe?
So in the safe, and normally what they do is when they throw in these little surprises and I do the review, I'll warn people clearly, and then I'll put it at the very end of the review. I'll spoil whatever it is. That way, everyone can step away if they don't want to be spoiled. But since you're asking, Sam, and it's Christmas, I'll let you know. And it has been a couple weeks.
Right, it has. Go ahead. You're fine.
Is one of the coolest head sculpts I think they've done so far, and it is a stylized version of the Man in the Iron Mask, or at least that's what I believe it to be. It's a skull, like an iron skull mask with a chain and a lock that comes down from the chin. It's really, really well sculpted, and I don't know what figure I'm going to put that on yet. I don't think it fits really well with the Jacob Marley figure because of the ghostly aspects of the figure, but I think it could go well with some of their other more skeletal looking figures or their more medieval looking figures. But it could also be a sign that they have something coming that would work perfectly with.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things in terms of what they do. Is that they have a whole line of figures, and I think a lot of like what they did last year with the Father Christmas, if I'm not mistaken, is they gave us 2 head sculpts, and those 2 head sculpts would be able to be used in some of their night figures. I guess they're night figures. Is that kind of what this is like? What's going on?
So yeah, I believe that they've kind of given us a little head swap for either something that's already out that maybe I don't have yet, or something that's upcoming. But you know how these kit bashers and customizers are. Somebody will come up with something awesome that already exists for that thing. But it is an incredibly cool looking head sculpt. I think I like this surprise better than the one that came with the Mask of the Red Death.
Oh, what was the surprise with the Mask of the Red Death? Hold on, hold on, wait a minute, real quick. What was the surprise of the Mask of the Red Death?
When you, we'll spoil that one too. When you take the mask off of the Mask of the Red Death, there's this incredibly gory, empty skull behind the mask. So it's kind of hollow, like you could see the inside of the, like the skull had been dug out behind the mask.
Well, here's where I'm all of a sudden going to just throw everything under the bus. I thought that the Mask of the Red Death figure was a piece of trash. So what I did was I grabbed the pumpkin head, the extra pumpkin head that I had from the Headless Horseman, slapped it on top of the Mask of the Red Death, and all of a sudden I had a Sam Hain figure. Yes, that's right. I had an articulated, it totally set the standard, raised the bar.
It's just mostly just cloth goods. I love the idea of the figure. I just don't know that it was kind of a juicy enough figure to have its own figure obscura.
Well, if you listen, I tell you what, if you have the Headless Horseman and you got that extra pumpkin head sculpt, slap that pumpkin head sculpt, take off that little ridiculous like Mask of the Red. You know, you talked about like the gory, like empty red skull, whatever. You pop that off, throw it on something else. There's probably another skeleton somewhere figure that you can use that for. Put a pumpkin head on top of that figure, and I'm telling you what, you have your own Sam Hain figure. Go grab a couple of retro Ghostbusters, and I'll tell you what, that is the way to go. And that's what I did with my own.
Pretty late in the figure obscura stuff, so I missed out on the Headless Horseman and Krampus and Father Christmas.
Well, I believe that they came out with a couple of different ones, and I'm sure that if you have the opportunity, you'll eventually get them. But now, Cato, one more thing before I let you go. I want to thank you real quick for talking about this Jacob Marley figure. I hadn't had a chance to do it. Like I said, I don't even know if Lord Blanket. What do you mean Lord Blanket has it? I got to find that when we get back to Toy Town. Okay, so, but the thing is that Cato, when you're thinking about Christmas and you're thinking about the holidays, you've been a toy collector, you're a toy reviewer, but do me a favor. I'm going to give you about 2.5, 3 minutes to just go into, talk to us real quick about your favorite Christmas and the gift that you got on a Christmas morning that really just made you giddy like a little child.
Well, it's easy for me to say that one of my favorite Christmases was the year I got Sunstreaker, my first Transformer. But I think I might be confused. It could have been a birthday, but easily my favorite Christmas is I came out of my room, walked into the living room, and sitting there on the sofa waiting for me to open it was a brand new Nintendo Entertainment System with Duck Hunt and Mario Brothers, and it's probably the most used Christmas present I've ever got.
Now, okay, so you talk about Duck Hunt. Did you prefer Duck Hunt or did you like the clay shooting?
I prefer Duck Hunt.
You prefer the duck.
Watching that dog laugh at you when you screw up.
The dog laughing at you while you screw up. Oh my gosh. And do you remember exactly maybe kind of what year that might have been?
There is no possible way I could remember that year. It would have been probably the year after the NES came out, so whatever year that was.
Probably 1986, 87.
Yeah, whatever year. It was. I doubt that I got it the first year it came out. That would seem weird to me. It was probably the year after.
Gotcha. Well, listen, I know next week we're going to be talking about our favorite toys of the year. Are you going to be around next week to talk about your favorite toys? The top, I guess people always do these like lists, top 5, top 10. Are you going to be doing a top 5, top 10 list on your channel?
I will probably do a top 5. I'll probably do 2 different top 5. I'll probably do a top 5 for Transformers or third-party stuff, and then I'll do one specifically for action figures like AWOC and Four Horsemen, things like that.
Okay, and so where could everybody find those videos?
They will all, just like everything else, they'll end up on my Cato's Collection Reviews YouTube page and Instagram and Facebook, and hopefully next week when I'm talking to Sam.
Awesome, awesome. Listen, I'm going to be doing a toy segment next week. Would love to have you join us in. Going to be giving people my top 5, maybe my top 10, I'm not sure. The way how I do my top 10 and top 5 is a lot different than everybody else. I only have a one figure from each production company that is allowed within the top 10. So if a Hasbro has been taken one of the spots, that's the only Hasbro figure that can be done. There's a Valaverse, it's the only Valaverse, it's the only NECA, it's the only Super Set, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But the thing is that you're not going to find in my list, my top 10 list, multiple Hasbro, multiple Mattels. It's only the way how we do this, and the way we started doing this about a year or so ago, is that you're only allowed to have a one figure per production company. And that production company figure represents not only the brand or the IP or whatever, but also the creative individualism of the company that makes it itself. So there might be only one. Oh, say that again. So that's what you do?
That's exactly what I do. If I have a Four Horsemen figure in my top 5, there will not be another Four Horsemen figure. It's got to be the top figure that I'm collected from that line, and it can't be duplicated in the rest of the 5.
And you know what we call that? We call that setting the standard, raising the bar, and not being a shill with anybody else. So I want to make sure that everybody follows Cato's Collection. That's Cato at Cato with a K, at Cato's Collection on Instagram. That's also on YouTube. It's all over social media. Cato, listen, I want to thank you for being a part of the show. We got more exciting things coming in the future for 2024 with the 10 o'clock toy hour. And we're going to talk about that, of course, and we'll be making sure that we let everybody know that. Listen, Cato, I hope that you and your family have a very Merry Christmas, and hopefully we're able to talk to you next week as well, sir.
Merry Christmas, Sam. Merry Christmas, everyone listening. And thank you for setting the standard and raising the bar.
Only because you do it as well, sir. So anyways, guys, that is Cato. Cato's Collection. Cato's Collection, setting the standard, raising the bar. Listen, I tell you what, there's not a lot of toy reviewers that I listen to, but he is the man. 804-289-UR90. That's 804-289-8790. Got about another, 5, 6, 7 minutes. We'll keep the phone lines open just for another segment, for another few moments here. It is the holiday special. Usually this is when we're closing out the show, but we're going to be staying here for at least another half hour, maybe 45 minutes at the top of the hour. We have 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, the annual reading of 'Twas the Nightmare, not Nightmare, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas at the top of the hour. And of course, a couple of other jams and songs as well. Looks like that the phone lines have been shut down. They've been shut down now. They're over with. So the phone lines are now over. They're shut down. And what we're going to do is we're going to get to some of the songs and some of the things that we had chatted about with Deep Cut Dave when it came to Charlie Brown and Garfield Christmas. We talked about that a little bit, earlier in the show. If you want to listen to those segments, well, unfortunately, the Dave segment is radio only, but we do have it recorded, and eventually we will have that where you can listen to it when you subscribe to Sam Newsman at samnewsman.com. Now, we haven't gone into all of that just yet, but just know there will be a subscription service here coming in the new year. Just going to warn everybody all that right now, but I'm going to tell you this. It's kind of like a Christmas thing. There will be a website at samnewsman.com. It's going to be subscription based. We'll have probably $1, maybe $1, $5, and $10 in terms of your subscription service and what you can do, how you can be a part of the show, be a producer with my own producers, because you know what? It's about time I get some outside producers, because what the heck are you guys doing behind the glass over there, right? What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, good grief. Oh my gosh. So anyway, so here it is. At Sam Newsman is where you can find me on social media. But samnewsman.com, that will be the website, samnewsman.com. And in the future, we will be having a subscription-based service directly through the website. And of course, more opportunities for you to be a part of the show. Now, here we are. We're broadcasting live Facebook, YouTube, X, and also on Instagram. The Sam Cams are live, up and running. Shout out to everybody in the chat: Moto Viper, Kenzo's Creations, Big M, Prophet Director, Duchess of Darkness, a whole bunch of people that are there. Adam, I see Adam in there as well. Make sure you're following me at Sam Newsman all over social media. That way you can sit there and text me and chat and all that other fun stuff during the show. I'm going to be back in about 10 minutes or so. And we're going to have our annual reading of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas here on the only radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real media puppet from the most trusted puppet in media. Reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman. And this is Saturday morning.